Hey everybody, G4 Video 5 here, and welcome back to some more Grand Theft Auto 3, the definitive edition. In this part, we will be completing the final mission, the exchange for Catalina.
Sí, bueno. ¿Pa qué es idiot? One of these Scarface idiots.
The real question is, did you turn up to rescue Maria or to get me back? Well, I got news for you. Shooting you will be a pleasure, but dating you was only business. You are muy pequeñito, amigo. Throw over the cash. You have been a busy boy, but you haven't learned. I'm not to be trusted. Kill the idiot!
You know, thankfully that guy didn't instantly shoot Claude, or else the game would just end right there. It's like he took a second, and then Claude reacted and did that badass maneuver to get the hell out of there. But anyway, you don't really have to fight any of those Colombian cartel gang members. I suppose you could, because they have some weapons that you can use, because at this point we don't have any weapons outside of this pistol, which is a pretty crappy weapon, all things considered. Like, the enemies we're going to see up ahead are going to have assault rifles and whatnot, so yeah, this thing might not be too useful. But we do have our vehicle to run over enemies as well, which is a pretty safe bet for the first few enemies we come across, as this thing can take quite a few bullets. We're using the old trusty blue Kuruma here to kind of push our way into this area. And I like the pedestrian bleed that happens there, which is not as gruesome as it sounds. It's just that, you know, if you're going fast enough, sometimes pedestrians will spawn in areas that they normally do but shouldn't in the situation you're in. Like during this mission, there will be no pedestrians that spawn down here, even though outside of this mission there are pedestrians that do spawn in this area. So sometimes you can force them to spawn if you're going fast enough into this area, if any of that makes sense. But anyway, there's a sniper rifle back there that's pretty handy, as it allowed us to pick off some of these Colombian cartel gang members. And again, they have AK-47s and M16s, very powerful weapons that will be very useful as we progress through this little area right here, which is pretty awesome. I love this place. Nice little shootout area. It's fantastic stuff. Although we do have to be mindful of explosive barrels, as along a lot of these, not necessarily walls, but like shipping containers and whatnot, there are explosive barrels lined up everywhere. And in fact, we can shoot one right now, and you can see the damage that causes there. So it's pretty good to use that to your advantage.
Get this thing airborne!
So now that Catalina is in the helicopter, we have this flatbed that's going to try running us over, but the old M16, very powerful there, saved us quite a bit. I mean, I guess they still succeeded in running us over, but not completely, so yeah, we were able to get away from that. And something to be mindful of now is that since the helicopter is active and kind of making passes around the dam area down here, we do need to be careful, as it's enchilada night, and you have some fiery diarrhea explosions that are just lighting up this area, so it's best to take cover behind the shipping containers that line the wall to the right. But we're already at this point where the stairway will protect us here from the explosions, and those things can do a lot of damage, so you really don't want to be caught up in that. But from this point, there's Maria. We just need to take care of these Colombian cartel gang members surrounding her, and there's going to be a few up here, including another gang member that has a flamethrower, and now the pistol's coming in handy here, since we can just take that guy out, since he's making out with a wall there. And now the helicopter's going to make another pass, and there's a rocket launcher up here that we can use to destroy the helicopter. And unfortunately, we just missed out there, and we actually got caught up in that explosion. 84 health. Ooh, a bit of foreshadowing there. But we have plenty of time to wait for the helicopter to make another pass. This is a timed mission, but it's really not that much of a factor in this, at least from my experience. So yeah, you know, you don't have to go back to the hideout or anything to get weapons. You really can do a lot of damage just using whatever weapons you end up picking up in this mission, and that rocket launcher shot right there will complete Claude's quest for revenge. No more pooping on the dam for Catalina.
Residents in Cedar Grove have been coming to terms with the emotional aftermath of a full-blown war that hit the area yesterday. Local resident Clive Denver described to police a single gunman that he saw fleeing the scene with a dark-haired woman.
Oh, you know, we're gonna have such fun, because, you know, I love you. I really do, because you're such a big, strong man, and that's just what I need. Anyway, what was I saying? You know, I forget, but you know what it's like, don't you?
The sound of explosions shook nearby homes as people ran for cover. Several citizens were injured in the panic as gunfire was exchanged between ground forces and a helicopter circling the dam.
Yeah, we got a good view from down here in the gardens. When the copter finally got taken out, better than the fireworks on the 4th of July.
With the death toll already over 20, police are still finding bodies. There have been no official denials concerning rumors that the dead were members of the Colombian cartel, and still no leads as to the cause of the massacre.
My hair is ruined. I mean, can you believe it? This one cost me $50.
And there's the infamous shotgun blast, which raises the question, did Claude shoot Maria? And we'll never really know since it happened off screen, but I do believe that he did. And the reason is because Claude was seeking revenge against Catalina, and Maria just happened to be a part of it. She got caught up in the middle of this process, and we used that to our advantage, since she was kidnapped and held for ransom by Catalina and the Colombian cartel, and we used that to get close to Catalina and get our revenge like you just saw in that gameplay a little while ago. So, you know, at this point it's like, well, what's really the use for Maria in Claude's life? You know, Maria, I mean, we've been caught up in the middle of a lot of her messes too throughout this game, like with the whole Salvatore Leone situation. You know, rest in peace to his crusty nutsack there. A bit of a shame, to be honest, but, you know, either way, we're now at this point where, you know, Claude, I think, is free from the baggage of Maria. So, fantastic stuff. Grand Theft Auto 3 is one of my favorite games of all time, and I know it's not the perfect game in the world, especially when it comes to gameplay and story. I know Grand Theft Auto 5 definitely with gameplay is, you know, much more refined and modern, and it's very enjoyable. But you know, I think that these older Grand Theft Auto games are also very enjoyable in their own ways. You know, because I feel like they have a lot of arcade charm to them, where the mechanics aren't that detailed, but there's still a lot of satisfaction when it comes to just even driving around at top speeds and being able to control your vehicles in a not so realistic way at times, but in a very satisfying way, I find, and even with like gunplay and stuff like that. So something else I wanted to give attention to are the radio stations in this game, because these radio stations are just fantastic, and I love coming back to them, because they still entertain me, whether it be musically or whether it be entertainment-wise, with giving me a couple of hearty laughs there with Chatterbox FM. As Chatterbox FM in this game, I think, rivals any other radio station, talk radio station, in any other Grand Theft Auto game. Like this Chatterbox FM, Laszlo is hilarious. He plays the perfect straight man to all the folks in Liberty City and their antics. And this goes beyond just the interviews with Reed Tucker, which is fantastic, and Fernando Martinez. I mean, I'm just thinking about them right now, and you know, just thinking about these folks just makes me laugh. But you can like take any 5-minute window from the radio station, whether it be the interviews or just the folks calling in, and it's just hilarious. Like, it's just fantastic how it was written, And I love coming back to it and just listening to it in my spare time and whatnot. And then you also have the music radio stations like MSX FM, my favorite, not my all-time favorite. I actually prefer MSX 98 and Liberty City Stories. But MSX FM, you know, it's not for everybody, because the DJ is just going crazy with the, you know, whatever you want to call it. And it's just fantastic stuff, that drum and bass music. You know, it's just so fitting with whatever you happen to be doing at the time, as you're driving around the place or running folks over, about to go on a hot little rampage or whatever. You know, it's just that Flashback FM, incorporating the Scarface soundtrack and the songs that would play during the club scenes, and then, you know, Push It to the Limit and all that stuff. I mean, it's just, oh, it's tremendous. Head Radio with Mike Hunt, Lips 106, Double Clef FM with Morgan Merriweather, oh, K-Jaw. I mean, the list goes on. Only so much, because there's only so many radio stations, but literally all of them are fantastic in their own way and have exposed me to a nice variety of music. Game FM, don't want to leave that out either. Oh, I mean, it's just, that to me is probably one of the most top aspects of this game, is the radio. So with that being said, that just about wraps up this part. I do want to say one final thing and thank each and every single one of you, especially those of you still watching up to this point, listening to my ass ramble for several minutes. But if you've been watching, liking, leaving comments, and subscribing because of these videos, it's very much appreciated. So, until my next video, I will see you next time.